Silent night, peaceful night, all things sleep, shepherds keep watch on Bethlehem's silent hill, and unseen while all is still. Angels watch above, angels watch above. I am the Reverend Danny Crosby, a Unitarian minister serving the folks of Altrincham and Urmston in the northwest of England, and many other folk, I suppose, on God's this beautiful, sweet, sweet earth. I just want to share a few thoughts with you as we head towards Christmas on this solstice, the shortest day, the darkest day, the longest night. For Christmas begins in the middle of the night. In the bleak midwinter. Christmas always begins at midnight, so wrote A. Powell Davis on Christmas Eve, 1944, in the midst of global conflict. He continued, whenever we feel pessimistic concerning the future of humanity upon this troubled planet, we can always remember this, that with all his fears and failings, man has yet somehow managed to put the brightest of his festivals in the darkest part of the year. Not at midsummer, but at midwinter. He celebrates most universally his hope and his joy. Wisdom from some 80 years ago, but a timeless and universal wisdom that speaks powerfully today. Throughout human history, we have celebrated the light when it is darkest. We always have, and I suspect that we always will. In our most desolate times, at the darkest time of the year, what do? We sing carols of glad tidings of comfort and joy, oh glad tidings of comfort and joy. When life is at its most harsh, in the bleak midwinter, we turn to gentleness, kindness, compassion, and love. We celebrate the heart, which surely is the essence of Christmas. We give birth to love within the mangers of our hearts. Love is born again. Do you know what? We need Christmas more than ever this year. We need its love and we need its joy. That said, as we do so, we must acknowledge the darkness and the troubles that we all live with. Yes, there is new hope, but there is true suffering and fear abound too. We must not forget this. We must not pretend otherwise. Christmas begins at midnight, in the middle of the night, in the darkest night, in the darkest days. These celebrations of light, they predate the Christmas mythos. We have celebrated the coming of light in the dark of winter for millenniums. The mythos at the heart of Christmas, began even before the Nativity. And yet, we still need to hear this story. Why? Well, perhaps because it is the greatest telling of this universal mythos, the most compelling. And you know what? It speaks just as powerfully today. Maybe we need it more than ever. Christmas begins at midnight. Remember, it was in the lonely midnight, at the darkest moment of the night, that the shepherds heard the angels sing. They heard those angels sing at the darkest point of the night. Remember that the wise men were guided by the star in the night sky. They were not guided by the sun. That light could only shine in the darkness, or at least it could only be seen then. It is always in the dark that faith is born. It is in the dark that we light our lanterns and we light our candles. It is in the dark that we begin to sing our songs and we tell our tales of hope and courage. And in so doing, we encourage one another to keep on. A light shone in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome him. It did not overcome the light. And so we light our beacons of hope in the bleak midwinter. As Powell Davis wrote, hope is eternal. In the darkest hour, the brightest hope, and at midnight, the sound of caroling. It is because in the goodness of God we have this at our best that we shall never be altogether overtaken by what we are at our worst. No, the darkness will not overcome the light. By the lighting of life and by the singing of songs, we will give birth to the hope that is Christmas, a hope that was first born long before the Christmas mythos, a hope that we continue to give birth to today, and we will continue to do so when we are all long gone. They'll keep singing those songs when we're not here. Remember that each year we give birth to a new hope. But truth be told, it's not new. It's an old hope, a hope as old as humanity. Maybe even older. Yeah, probably even older. So let us open our hearts this Christmas. Let's open them to all that stands against faith, hope, and love. Let us open them so wide that the love at the core of the ancient story, that love can be born again. Let us give birth to the love in the mangers of our hearts. Let us light our candles and sing our songs at this darkest time of the year and give birth to the love that the whole world's been waiting for. It's up to us. We must give love to it ourselves. For Christmas begins at midnight and it's born again in the mangers of all our hearts. Silent night, peaceful night, all things sleep, shepherds keep watch on Bethlehem's silent hill, and unseen while all is still. Angels watch above, angels watch above. Bright the star shines afar, guiding travelers on the way. All the gold and incense bring, offerings to the promised King. Child of David's line, child of David's line. Lights around, joyous sound, Angel voices wake the air. Glory be to God in heaven. Peace on earth to you who is given. Lo, the Christ is born. Lo,